It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. This Monday night, witness the end of an era. John Cena takes center stage for his final appearance ever on Monday Night Raw. One last match, one unforgettable farewell. Come celebrate the legacy of a true WWE legend. Monday Night Raw, November 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, only on Netflix. Be there for the moment everyone will be talking about.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Joining us now is the great Congressman from New York, Congressman Mike Lawler. Congressman, your reaction to this big news, and boy, a lot of pain for just Americans. I think about the air traffic controllers, the TSA workers, so many people dragged through this shutdown, and for what?
No question, Rita. It was absolutely ridiculous. For 43 days, the American people suffered through a government shutdown that was totally unwarranted, unnecessary, and completely created by House and Senate Democrats, and especially the two from New York, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. They did this because they wanted to show their far-left progressive base that they were standing up to Trump. And this was never about health care. It was never about government spending. It was always about politics. And as a result, the American people suffered, including those 42 million Americans who rely on SNAP and WIC, our federal employees who went without paychecks for over a month, including our military, our Border Patrol agents, our air traffic controllers. It was shameful. New York has the seventh largest population of federal employees, and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries didn't care. They didn't care one iota. Chuck Schumer voted 15 times, Rita, to shut the government down, to defund these critical programs, to not pay our federal employees. I said last night he deserves every bit of contempt and criticism by the American people. There's Yiddish words that aptly describe Chuck Schumer. It's schmuck, putz, and shanda. He is a disgrace.
Well, it's interesting, Congressman, and those descriptions, I think a lot of people understand all too well. You're right. To what end? He voted, as you mentioned, 15 times to shut the government down. And then to what end? What did the people on the far left flank of the Democratic Party think in the House of Representatives? AOC is now calling for Schumer's head, saying, what does she want? The shutdown to go for another year or two? Is that what was the game?
I mean, you had tonight 208 Democrats voted to shut the government down even further. They refused to open the federal government. And the reason it's a Democrat-led shutdown, they were angry about the fact that it reopened. It was absolutely absurd on its face. It's disgusting. You have New York representatives voting to cut SNAP and WIC and not allow for our federal employees, our troops, the families of our troops to be paid. It's absolutely mind-boggling. I voted 8 times while Joe Biden was president to ensure that we kept the government open. Kevin McCarthy lost his job as Speaker of the House for putting a clean CR on the floor of the House to keep the government open because it was the right thing to do, and he lost his job because of it, because of politics. And yet here you have the Democrats going hook, line, and sinker and shutting down the government, all because they hate Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. This is all about Trump derangement syndrome, don't you think, Congressman? I mean, clearly, what other objective? Why would you want to harm to the end where you'd want to harm the American public, tens of millions of Americans? I mean, it's shocking.
They have lost all rationality and reason because of Trump derangement syndrome. It really is an incurable disease. There is a fundamental problem when your hatred of the president of the United States drives you to shut down the government and make sure that the American people don't get the benefits that they are entitled to and our federal employees don't get paid for 43 days. And to your point, for what? What did they gain out of this? Absolutely nothing.
Explain to everybody what this does too. This was just simply a continuing resolution to continue funding the government through January 30th. So, I mean, it should have been a no-brainer, right?
Well, we were able to not only fund the government through January 30th, but 3 of the 12 appropriations bills were completed in full and are funded through September 30th, 2026. Ag, Milcon VA for our veterans, our military, and the legislative branch. So there's 9 more appropriations bills to work through and, to negotiate. But we were able to reopen the government, make sure that, our federal employees get paid immediately and that critical programs like SNAP and WIC are fully funded. And I can't understand for the life of me how anybody who is serious about governing could vote to inflict more pain on the American people after 43 days as we head into the holidays. What was their plan if this failed tonight? What's their plan if the government funding bills didn't pass tonight? They don't have one, and that's precisely why we were in this shutdown for 43 days, and Senate Democrats, led by Chuck Schumer, voted 15 times, Rita, to shut the government down. Chuck Schumer has been in elected office for 50 years. He was first elected to the state assembly in 1974. I was born in 1986. He was elected to Congress in 1980, okay, and then elected to the U.S. Senate in 1998. It is time to go. It is time to go home.
So where do you see also just you look at the country, the fact that they would actually hold the government hostage, Congressman Lawler. I mean, this shows to me that, like you said, they're willing to do anything, and it's going to be rough times. They're going to be, they would not even, as you mentioned tonight, overwhelmingly, they voted to keep the government shut down. They didn't care that, tens of millions of people that were traveling were being held hostage. They didn't care that, air traffic controllers were sleeping in their cars. This, to me, portends what's ahead, don't you believe?
Rita, there's 47 Democrats in the United States Senate, 214 currently in the House. Only 6 Democrats in the House and 8 Democrats in the Senate voted to reopen the government. It is insanity. And I just, for the life of me, I don't understand why people think using the American people as a political hostage to try and somehow gain political advantage is somehow a good thing. It's wrong. I don't care who does it. I don't care who the president is, when it's done. It is fundamentally wrong. And every American should be demanding better of their elected representation. We can disagree on policy. We can disagree on the issues. We can duke it out at elections. But the idea that you're going to shut the government down, this is the most basic function of Congress. Pass appropriations. Article 1. It's not hard.
Yeah, you're right. It is the most basic. And I know we just have a minute or two left with you, Congressman. I want to also ask you, explain sort of what happens now, because it will still take a little bit of time for instance, air traffic controllers. Hopefully they get back to work right away. But for the public listening out there, it may take a few days for things to kind of get back into place, right? I know that federal workers can come back to work tomorrow, but for them to get the notice and who knows where they are, what will we see? What will the general public sort of see in the next day or 2 or 3?
Well, obviously, the president just signed the bill, so it is now law. The Treasury can start releasing funds and make sure that the departments, the agencies have the funds that they need to do their jobs and get the workforce back in. Ultimately, it may take a few days, over the next week to get everything fully ramped up. But I suspect things will move pretty quickly. I think, obviously, I'm sure the federal workforce wants to get back to work. They want to get paid. They deserve to be paid. It is wrong what happened here. And think about this, Rita. Every day the government was shut down, it cost us about $15 billion in GDP growth. The Democrats don't care. They don't care that they caused, a hardship in our economy. They want it to fail. They want it to fail so they can blame Republicans, they can blame the president, and they can use that in next November's elections. They don't care about the consequences of this shutdown. The fact that they stood on the floor today and voted nearly unanimously to keep the government shut down even further speaks volumes, and Americans should vote accordingly. They should understand that this was nothing more than a political stunt by Democrats. It had nothing to do with policy and everything to do with political gain.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the heartbreaking thing, that they were willing to do that to the American public and so many hardworking Americans who were the ones who were so deeply affected by this. It is shocking to me, and it's a wake-up call. And I hope the American public sees what happened here. The Democrats own this, and it has been a disaster. Well, Congressman Mike Lawler from the great state of New York, thank you so much for joining us. We so appreciate on this big breaking news night. Thank you for all you do to keep us safe and to keep fighting the good fight. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Rita. Talk soon.
Thank you. Look forward to it. Thank you, Congressman, so much.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.